Hey everybody, it's that time, 8 p.m. Wednesday night, the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm super excited about tonight. We've been kicking off this season with some great guests, and tonight is nothing short of spectacular as we sit down with Marcia Howlett. She is a super dope businesswoman, and she's a game changer, and she's also the owner and operator of Howlett Consulting LLC. She's going to give us a wealth of knowledge and tell us what she's been up to and help you in your future endeavors. So we're going to get ready to start the Simeon Henderson Show, and I'm super excited. A lot's been going on, but you got sports. You got, boxing, basketball, football, golf. Oh, golf is on hold right now, right? But there's a lot going on. Things that can keep you busy. Watch some comedy. Do something that's going to make you laugh, because in this world there's a lot of things that's happening, and we want to stay motivated and we want to stay inspired. All right? So get ready, because the Simeon Henderson Show is about to sit down with Marcia Howlett, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. All right, everybody, it's that time. I'm sitting down with Marcia Howlett. So first of all, Marcia, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for launching your business. Launching your business to, to help perfect customer service, right?
Yes,
And so many people, customer service is huge. And I believe that there's some people working in customer service that shouldn't be there. And you know you chose that job. So if you have to greet people, you better put a smile on your face, right? So talk to us about Howlett Consulting LLC. What's your vision, and why did you launch the company?
Well, thank you for having me.
No
I
problem.
really do appreciate being here. Well, I guess what really helped me launch the business is, while I was in between jobs, I always had to deal with customer service, trying to, get this bill straightened out and that bill straightened out. And, I would always get somebody with an attitude or hanging up on you, or just didn't want to, or gave you that perception that they just didn't want to be there.
Yes.
Like you were bothering them for
Right.
for calling. And so, we as consumers are into instant gratification.
Yes.
Regardless if you need your phone bill taken care of, if you have an issue with your cable bill, not cable bill, but with your cable service, or with your Wi-Fi, whatever the case may be, we want that problem solved immediately.
Yes, we do.
And on the other end, if you have somebody who just doesn't want to, gives you the perception that they just don't want to be there, that's not good customer service. So they're not going to give you good customer service because they don't want to be there.
Right.
And so, I'm like one of what I would call like the worst customer you would have. So I want that instant gratification, and I wasn't getting it. And I saw the problem. I saw the need. And particularly those that are living offshore, because a lot of customer service is going offshore now into these different countries. And so one time I called, I was with my cable provider. I needed a new remote control. So I called them, and so they were like, oh, well, we can't give you that because you have an outstanding bill. And I was like, wait a minute, I just paid that bill a couple of days ago. I know I don't have an outstanding bill.
Right.
And so, I would call back, and it was always the same old thing, we can't get that for you. And so finally I was just like, after a month of trying, I was like, I can't get anywhere. I can't watch my TV because I can't use.
You gotta have the remote.
I gotta have the remote.
It's not like
and
it
because
used to be.
right, and because of the TV that I have, I had to have a remote control. So I called and I said, you know what? I'll just cancel and I'll go to the competitor, and we'll just do it that way. And so I called, and so she transferred me back to the U.S. So I gave the guy the scenario of what I've been dealing with, and this, that, and the other, and he's like, well, Miss Howlett, do you think you can just hold on for 2 minutes while I check into this? And I was like, sure. So he came back and he said, the reason why you could not get this remote control is because it doesn't exist anymore. They upgraded it.
Right.
So a lot of people feel that customer service is always the representative when it really isn't always the representative. Sometimes that falls on the company in which they're representing. So my whole thing is I want to come in, bridge that gap, to let these these large organizations know that if you have customer service reps out there on the front line and you're not providing them with the tools that they need in order to give good customer service, then of course naturally that's going to affect your bottom line, because customers are going to talk.
Yes, they are.
They're not going to want to come back. I have friends, I went over to one of my girlfriend's house and she was like, Marcia, I just don't want to call customer service. I'm having a problem with my cable service. And I was like, well, what happened? So she started telling me her husband even came downstairs. And I was like, so I looked at the tower because I had the same service.
Right.
I said, you unplugged that. So when she walked over, she saw that it was unplugged, and her husband plugged it in,
and it worked.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to call customer service." But it's things of that nature. People just don't want to deal with customer service at all. So my whole thing with Howlett Consulting, I want to go and help those that are offshore. Primarily in India. Mexico is a new up-and-coming country that they're being outsourced to, the Philippines, and train the customer service representatives on how to really provide good customer service and enhance those that have those customers, that good customer service, enhance their skills. As well as, like I said, bridge the gap with the companies in which they're representing.
Okay.
So that's the whole piece.
So when you talk about the Howlett Consulting, what walk us through like some of the training techniques. What are some of the training techniques that you guys teach?
Now I can't give you all of my training techniques.
That's why I said give us one. Give us one.
But one of the things that makes me different is the fact that I'm not going in there with a whole bunch of booklets and having them read it. My whole thing is to go in and engage them in really an activity.
So an interaction.
Interactive,
yeah.
And just kind of bouncing things off of each other, because that's how you learn, is through each other and just conversating. And that's one of the ways that, because I find that in certain areas of the world, it's not necessarily, because I've trained and I've mentored a team that was a team of buyers over in India. Loved them. They were, and they're still some of my very good friends on Facebook. We keep in touch often. And a lot of them have master's degrees. So they're not what, people always think that, because you have an accent that you're not that intelligent, this, that, and the other. But hey, guess what? Everybody that walks this earth has an accent. Everybody. We have American accents. There's accents in this world. So just because somebody has an accent, don't put them down.
Right.
At all.
There's a language barrier.
There's a language.
There's a language barrier, and it's not so much about the education. It's about the language barrier. If they're speaking in their language, they can go like we're going right now.
Absolutely. But what I've learned is, I have learned to pick up on how their speech pattern, so I can understand what they're saying. And so it's just a matter, and it's a matter of learning how they speak. And as well as I've noticed that when I was on the phone with some of my buyers in the past, and somebody was getting irritated with them, they would get nervous and they would speak faster.
Yes.
And so that is like not necessarily, I wouldn't say what do you call that? A defense mechanism. but it's just they're nervous.
They're nervous.
And they're nervous.
Yes.
And so when people get nervous, they do certain things. Like me, right now I'm nervous. So hey.
And she's doing great.
But so when people get nervous, certain things happen. And so a lot of the times I used to have to shut some conversations down because I'm not going to have you talking to my people like that. That's not cool. But, you know, a lot of it also is cultural.
Yes.
So when you're talking about different cultures and things like that, like certain parts of the world, instant gratification is not top on the list. They like to be real laid back and cool.
Yes.
With us, we want that right away. So it's teaching them the culture, the cultural differences between ours and theirs. And so that's part of it as well.
Okay.
You know, so.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What are some of the retailers and customers, or I'm sorry, companies, Howlett have you guys outsource? Like,
Well, actually, I'm just starting out, so I haven't actually got my first contract yet. I'm looking to do that. I have a meeting with a friend of mine who has his own business, and he and his business partner will be having a conversation with me in the next couple of days to kind of go over everything, because they do a lot of business in India, and that's my target market right now.
Okay.
And so having a conversation with them and, you know, really going over what my business is about and, you know, how they can help me, you know, transcend my business over there. That's what I'm looking to do right now. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
I'm excited about it, but I'm nervous. You know, the whole 9 yards. You know, being successful has always been something that I've been afraid of, and I'm sure there are people out there that can relate to that. You know, because you kind of, you know, shy back on certain things that you really want to do. But finally, I was, you know, like I kept losing a job after a year of being in you know, business and working my tail off and getting accolades and everything, and then we have a, you know, company reorg and you're affected. Right. So I was like, you know what? This is God telling me, you learned what you were supposed to learn on that job. Now you're supposed to do this. What I have. It's time. Store for you. That's it. That's it. It's time. That's it. So I said, you know what? It's time to stop procrastinating. It's time to stop being scared and just step out on faith. And that's what I'm doing. That's what's up. You hear that, guys? Marcia Howlett. She has started her business. She's doing what a lot of us really want to do. I know you guys can relate. It's time for you to just take that jump. You got to jump, step up, and step out, and just go get it. You're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. Tonight, we're talking to Marcia Howlett, and she is an awesome, awesome woman. Started her business, and she's on the rise. So we're going to check out what the Chicago Fly Guy has to say, because we know he always has something exciting. So we'll be right back after these messages and these words from your Chicago Fly Guy with the top 5 you need to know right here on the Simeon Henderson Show. We'll be back.
Hey, it's America's favorite personality, your Chicago Fly Guy. And tonight I'm bringing you the top 5 things that daddies say on daughter's first date. Number 5. Daddy said, FaceTime me, because I need to see y'all the entire date. Number 4. I hope you can steer with your chin, because I need to see your hands at all times. Number 3. What you plan on doing with my daughter tonight? Number 2. Where you park? Wait for me. I'ma trail y'all. And the number 1 thing that daddies say is, you from around here? I don't recognize you. Where you from? Who your people? I'm the Chicago Fly Guy, and these have been the top 5 things that, yes, daddies say on a daughter's first date. Right here on the Simeon Henderson Show.
Everybody, that Chicago fly guy is a hoot, isn't he? Talking about dads. And I'll say this, I have a daughter, and I don't think my daughter's been on her first date yet. Has she?
She probably
She's in
has.
college. You think she's been on her first date? Well,
Yes.
I'm going to say no. Because I don't know nothing about it.
She
Maybe
may
her and
be
her
out.
mama done talked about it, but they ain't told me nothing. Because I will be flying to New York. Okay, but yeah. You're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. My awesome guest, Marcia Howlett, is here. We've been having fun during the break and watching the Chicago Fly Guy. So you've been telling us about your business and the different things and how customer service needs to go and things like that. Let's go back a little bit. I want to ask you about your educational background. Like, what did you major in? What made you want to do something like this? Because customer service, it can be a daunting task.
It can be. But, you know, as you know, God can set you up for so many different things, and you don't even know that that's what he's doing until, because now I look back, I have a bachelor's of science in management
Oh, wow.
from University of Phoenix. And then I went back and got my master's in communication from Northwestern. So
you in there.
knowing how to manage people, knowing how to talk to people, how to communicate not only through in person but via email, that sort of thing, and on through the telephone. It's all communication. And so, you know, when I went back to school, that was, you know, that was the last thing I thought that I was going back to get a communications degree in.
Right.
Because when I first went to college, I went to Columbia College and was majoring in journalism.
Okay.
And so I wanted to be a news producer, and I worked at Channel 5 in the summer and the whole 9 yards. And then, you know, life happened and took me in a different way. And so I finally went back to school and got my degree in management, because I've always surrounded myself with people that had degrees. So it was something to shoot for.
Right.
You know, I wanted to be in the same mix with my friends.
Yes.
And so that they were like they were motivators for me. And so then when they started getting their master's degrees, it was like, okay, now I got to go back and do that. And so I said, that's it. I don't think I'm going to go and get a PhD, because that takes too long. But, yeah, and I've gone back to, you know, one of my professors that I keep in touch with, and, you know, I bounce ideas off of him. And he's always like, you know, because there was one particular thing when I was doing my presentation, putting my presentation together to present to these different companies, I was like, I don't know how to pull in an introduction page for, you know, right before I have to talk about my statistics. He said, Marcia, you don't have to do that. Just talk about the story you just told me and then go right into it. And I was like, wow, I never even thought of that. And so, you know, just having that mentor to kind of walk me through things is always a plus. And so I really cherish that. You know,
Okay.
It's always good to have a good mentor, somebody who can really just, you know, sometimes talk you through things, but make you talk yourself through
Right.
things.
They pull it out of you, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
So that's always a plus.
So, guys, you're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. We're sitting here with Marcia Howlett, and we're talking about customer service. We all know that we've all had some bad customer service and some good experiences.
Yes,
But
yes.
we want to teach you how to deal with it, and that's what Marcia does. Marcia, before we get out of here, I have to ask you this. So when you talk about customer service, one big thing about customer service is reviews. Right?
Yes.
Reviews are huge.
Yes.
And the one thing comes to mind with me is Yelp.
Yeah.
Yelp, okay. So what impact does Yelp and online consumer reviews have on a business? How does it help a business?
It can, I wouldn't say make or break, but it can put a stain on a business, especially if you have reviews that are bad. Because people do go back to Yelp and they either write a review or they're looking at certain things.
Yes, they do.
They want to read about what this company has to offer and how well they are. They can provide their service that they claim that they're giving.
Especially with restaurants.
Especially with restaurants. So, there are doctors out there that, you give reviews to. Hey, there's Yelp is so, it's one of those things that can be very dangerous if you're on the other end.
Yes.
And you're not doing what you're providing the service that you claim that you're going to give. Like, for instance, I was on the phone just the other day trying to get something downloaded on my computer. And this lady, she was, she wasn't very nice to me at all. And she wasn't offshore. She was right here in the U.S. And finally I was like, ma'am, because she was like, I'm trying to help you and this, that, and the other. And I was like, I understand you're trying to help me, but you're giving me a lot of attitude.
Right.
Ever since you got on this phone, you have been giving me nothing but attitude, and you're providing very bad customer service at this point. She changed her attitude immediately, not because of what I was saying, but because that was being recorded.
Yes, it was.
So, a lot of the companies like to record. It's always a good idea to, when they say, do you want to fill out a report, a survey after this call? Say yes, because if you get bad customer service, you're going to want to fill that out. I unfortunately pressed no during this conversation, but I knew that the call was being recorded. So one way or the other, she was going to get blasted.
She was going to get, yes.
And she did. So, that's one thing that I always, suggest to people is take that survey.
So all you customer service people out there, if you get a customer named Marcia Howlett, you better be on your P's and Q's, and you better be nice, because she's filling out that survey.
Yes, I am.
So man, it's so awesome to sit down with you and just hear this, because we need to hear these things and know these things, because I know I've been on the other end of some bad customer service, and I'm like, put your manager on the phone.
Yes.
And sometimes when you say that, they'll be like, well, I am the manager. I said, no, there's someone there that I can talk to in a bigger position than you, because you're answering the phone.
Absolutely. And, the funny thing about it is she was a manager that was giving me the attitude. But I recall another time when I had asked to speak to a manager, and the lady just put me on hold. And she didn't come back. She came back and she's like, okay, well, she didn't, finally, after so many minutes, she said, oh, well, he's in a meeting. He's going to be in a meeting for 2 hours. So you were going to leave me on hold for 2 hours until he got out of that meeting? That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Teaching that sort. The proper way to handle that was to take a message. And it was just that simple. But cultural things, we do things differently here in the U.S. versus, in other places. So she was going to leave me on hold until he got out of the meeting, and it was a 2-hour meeting.
And they didn't know who they were on the phone with.
No.
So everybody, if you have a business, you're a business owner, or you want to learn more about customer service, how to provide great customer service, Howlett Consulting LLC, my girl Marcia, she is in the business of making sure that your customer service experiences are
On
top
point.
flight.
Yes,
Okay?
Yes.
So
yes.
thank you so much for joining us. Do me a favor. Tell our viewers how they can reach you, find you, and just learn more about Howlett Consulting.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, my website is the Howlett Consulting, all one word, .com. But my web page, unfortunately, we're running into some issues, so it's not up. We had to take it down, so it'll probably, hopefully, it'll be up by the end of next week, if not the following week. But you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn at Marcia D. Howlett. You can find me there, and that's Howlett. First name is spelled Marcia, pronounced Marcia, not Marcia.
Marcia, thank you so much. I want you to continue to encourage, motivate, and inspire people
Absolutely.
to just be their best and build up, start their businesses. And I commend you for taking that step and that leap and starting your business, because one thing you always have to know, when you're working for someone, think of it as an internship. That's an internship.
Absolutely.
As you build your way to your brand and your success in starting your company, okay? So you've been watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. I have to give a big shout out to my executive producer, Jamani Amdi, my producers, Jose Perez, and our creative director, Shelton Smith, your Chicago Fly Guy. Thank you so much, Marcia.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you
and make
so
sure
much.
you tune in every Wednesday night to the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. Like and subscribe and share the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.